Check it out. Okay, so this lesson is about something called the standard form. So guys, the mini quiz that you guys just took was on the point slope form of an equation, right? That said that instead of having the y-intercept, we can just actually graph from any point and have that show up in our equation. This is a third form of linear equations called the standard form. Let's just start with this activity, right? It says that at the multicultural festival, we've got food vendors. Okay. There's a Greek booth selling gyro. That's how you pronounce it. Gyro. Gyro. For $6. And Vietnamese food are selling egg rolls for $2. $6 gyros, $2 egg rolls. Now, Quinn's mom is giving her $30 to buy dinner for the family. Yeah? Off the dome piece, can you look at this and just say, well, what's one way that she could feed her family with those $30? Gwen, can you see one? What's a combination? What's just a combination that she could use? I heard that from who? Tashi? Yeah, what did you say? Yeah, €5. And what? And what? Oh, just €5. Yeah, because 5 times 6 is 30, right? Can anyone see another way? Let's like actually get both foods in there. But that's a good way, right? Because like, I mean, I like gyros better than egg rolls. I don't know about you guys, but can anyone see a different combination? Gwen, what do you think? 3 euros for $18. So €3. And how many egg rolls? 6 egg rolls. And that uses up her entire budget, doesn't it? That uses up her whole budget. And I just want to notice, right, that I can like kind of write that like this. So like 3 was how many like egg rolls or how many euros she bought. Number of euro, right? And then the cost was 6. So I'm actually going to write it like this. 6 times 3. So this was the cost for a euro. This was the number of euros. Cost of an egg roll. And number of egg rolls, you said what? 6? Number of rolls. Good. So question 2 is asking if X is the number of euros and Y is the number of egg rolls, can I kind of mod this equation, modify this blue equation up here to create an equation that sort of describes the different combination of euro and egg rolls that I'm buying, Lila? You can do €1 for 3 egg rolls, right? So something like maybe, but then what about the $30? How does that, how can I also express that I have $30 I need to spend? X plus Y equals 30, but hang on, that would mean that I could buy like 15 euros and 15 egg rolls, which is way out of my budget, right? Because X is the number of euros and Y is the number of euros. 6X. Ah, okay. So if I do 6 times X, which is the number of euros, right? Then this term is how much I'm spending on euro. And if I add that to 2Y, that's the amount I'm spending on egg rolls. And that's going to equal 30. See that? 6X plus 2Y equals 30. So I'm going to leave you guys to try the rest of this page together. When you get to 6, you may not have the tools yet to do that. So I'm going to let you guys, you can skip 6. But try to see if you can do all the way up to 7 on your own, or at least give it a shot. Okay, I'm gonna come around. If you have any questions, well, any questions right now? Kind of making sense? Go ahead and try to get to the end of the page here. All right. Andres, I'll ask you for maybe an answer for 3 and 4. Okay? I think those are pretty good. Yeah, sure. And then for 5, can I ask Logan? All right, cool. Awesome. All right, just give it a shot. So, Andres, if Quinn only bought Euros, so she was just ditching the egg rolls entirely, how many could she buy? And this is kind of makes sense, right? 5. And how does that make sense, right? Right, 5 times 6, right? So if I write that kind of in our equation, if I buy 0 egg rolls, I can say that 6 times 5 plus 2 times, well, 0 egg rolls is also 30, right? 6 times 5 euros. And here you can see that x, which was our number of euros already, is 5, and this equation still works, right? So that makes it a little more complicated thinking, but like basically it just makes sense, right? $30, you're buying euros. What about egg rolls? Same idea. How many egg rolls can she buy if she dishes the euros entirely? Right. Right? Because 6 times 0 egg rolls plus 2 times 15 is also 30. So €5 and 15 egg rolls. Yeah? Now, Logan, if I want to take that 15 egg roll order and just add €1, how many egg rolls do I have to give up? Why 3? Right. If I buy 1 more euro, that's the same as buying 3 egg rolls, right? €1, so 3. Because €1 costs the same as 3 rolls. I see a hand up. Yeah, when? That's a great question. So you're trying to use maybe like that point slope form, or is it more like
I thought we had to read.
not? We already have an equation. We already have an equation for both, which is this one up here. Okay, and this just describes as if you have a combination of x and y that makes this equation true, then you've used your entire budget. Let's see how to actually graph this. So we've got 6x plus 2y equals 30. And I want to graph it. Now, one of the awesome things about the NumWorks calculator is you do not have to solve for y anymore. Back on the TI, you had to solve and you had to figure stuff out and you had to like do like fractions and stuff. Not anymore with the NumWorks. You just need to know what the right inputs are. Okay. So here's my NumWorks calculator. I'm just gonna clear. Whoops. I'm just gonna clear this so that I can show you what happens. Clear. Whoops. Clear. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my home menu. So everyone is on the NumWorks either on their app or on their calculator. Some of you guys got these like nice new shiny calculators. Let's go over to the Grapher app, right? And now if I want to graph this equation with just x and y, 6x plus 2y equals 30, it's easy, okay? I can go 6, where's the x? Yeah, I can do alpha 2. I can also just hit this button too, right? X and t, that'll just give me an x. That's like our default variable. Plus 2, but then where's the y? 3. You can see there's a gray y here. How do I get to the alpha? How do I get to the alphabet here? I'll hit the alpha button, alpha for alphabet. So I'll hit alpha 3 and I'll get the y. What about equals? Can you spot an equal sign somewhere on here? Above pi, but it's in yellow. How can I get to the yellow functions? Shift gives me. So shift gives me access to the yellow functions, and the alpha gives me access to the alphabet. Shift pi, I'll get my equals. 6x plus 2y equals what again? What did it say? 30. I'll just put in my 30. Boom, boom. I'll hit OK. And look, it can already tell that that'll be a line, right? I can ask it for information. I can ask it to do calculus on there, but I don't really need to do that. I'm just gonna go up and go to my graph and hit OK, and there it is. Whew. Crazy. Oh, you're on the wrong app. Don't use the equations app. Go to home. Go to grapher, not equations. Hit it again. Okay. Now try putting it in. You're done. All right. So anyone who needs to go and like to get their picture taken can head off and do that. Okay. Check it out. Not only can I graph this, right? I can also like scroll around really easily. I can go up to navigate, and now I can scroll using my arrow keys. I can even zoom in and out with plus and minus. So I'll just zoom out just so I can see this. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'll print screen and do that. And I'm just going to copy this into our notes. I'll just copy this into our notes. Whoops. Okay. Now, let's copy this graph in. Although you can see that the scale of the axes are a little different. What's this x-intercept down here? What does that look like to you guys? Could it be a 6, a 5? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. And then what about up here? 15 maybe? I think it is. But like if I can't tell, I can just go over to my calculator, and instead of graph, I'll go to table. Check it out. Table. Boom. There's all of the points. If I hit set interval, let's do a step of 1. Whoops. 1, hit OK, confirm. There's my table. And now I can see, oh yeah, you guys were right. 0, 15, right there. It's right there. And then where's the x-intercept? There it is, 5, 0. It's right there. So now I can tell for sure that this is 0, 15. Up here, this is 15, and that's 5. Now I'm changing to my slightly like wider scale. So I can just put those on here, on those points on this graph here. And that's pretty much all I need. Now I just draw a straight line between those two. Not so bad. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Last question here. It says that the point 2.5 comma 7.5 is on the line. So it may be hard to see, but it's actually on there. 2.5, 7.5, it's like right there. Does that have meaning in this context? Did anyone have a guess? I think some people did. Nate, you had a guess for this.
Yes. So if 2.5 is the amount of euros she can buy if she buys 7.5 egg rolls and vice versa.
So I can buy 2.5 euros if she buys 7.5 egg rolls.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's kind of just going to depend on the store, right? Like some stores will sell you a half thing and just charge you half, right? So I guess that does make sense. Some stores won't do that. Okay, but yeah, it kind of makes sense. X is 2.5 and Y 7.5. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine too. That's fine too. It kind of depends. But I also want you to notice, like, what did Gwen suggest Quinn buy again? She suggested that Quinn buys how many euros did you say? 3? 3, right? So Gwen suggested 3 euro. By the way, euros on here, right? Because that was her X. and our Y was our rolls. So she suggested 3 egg rolls, sorry, 3 euros and 6 egg rolls. That's right here on the graph. What was another proposal? What was Tachi's proposal for dinner? 5 euros and how many egg rolls? 0, right? Well, that's just right there. Yeah. So here is 3 euro, 6 rolls. That's that point there. Down here is 5 euro, 0 rolls. Can anyone look at this graph and see another possibility for dinner? 15 rolls and 0 euro. Anyone else? Can anyone see another proposal for dinner that could work? 1 euro 12. 1 euro 12 rolls. So all of the possibilities for dinner, all of her dinner options, where she uses all of her money and doesn't have any left over, she doesn't want to bring home any change, are on the graph somewhere. Kind of cool, right? Oh yeah, very cool. Let's see, very cool. Just put the euro in the bag. Okay. Yeah. Just put the egg rolls in the bag. Let's see. Okay. Let's get through this. Let's get through this page and then we can take a break, okay? During our break, if you want to finish your mini quiz, you can. Let's switch to a new color. Okay. Purple, fine. Purple. There we go. Purple. Okay. So we have a new form for our lines. We have a new form for our lines. We are already familiar with y equals mx plus b. The name of this form is slope-intercept, right? We are also familiar with y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this is our point slope. We now have a third form that we want to be able to work with. And that is this standard form, ax plus by equals c. Just like we had up here. 6x plus 2y equals 30. What's a? What's b? What's c? Which numbers are a? Which number is a? Which number is b? Which number is c?
6 is A.
Yeah, 6 is a. What's b?
2.
Yeah, 30 is c. Yeah? If I switched those two around, if I put the 2y first and the 6x later, then the a and the b would switch as well. Okay, a is the one that's on the x. Yeah. Not quite. Not quite. A quadratic formula, it needs an x squared. It needs a squared on it. And there's no squaring here. It's still a line. It's still a line, which means it has things like a slope. It still has an x and y intercept. Okay? So how can we find what those are? So usually this is a great form to deal with when you're working with budgets. Budgets. Like my lunch budget or Quinn's dinner budget, right? But you can have a budget of other things. You can have a budget of things that aren't money, like time, right? Or manpower, you know, or space, right? You could have a space budget. Or, I don't know, soldiers, I don't know. Here, A is what we'll call the rate of that first variable, of the x variable. And rate's kind of an abstract term. The best way I can describe it is it's just like how much each x costs you in your budget. So in this example, A was 6 because every euro cost us 6. B was 2 because every egg roll cost us 2. So instead of cost, we'll just call that rate. Because if we're working with a different variable, right? We want another, a different word that isn't like money based. So B is the rate of the Y, and C is sort of like our budget, right? It's like we have to stick to that budget. I'm going to introduce a new vocabulary word. I'll call it a constraint. A constraint. Because it constrains you, right? Like our budget, the amount of money we have constrains what we can buy for dinner. If we had unlimited money, we could buy as many egg rolls and gyros as we want. Okay? So check out that example there. We want to fence in this rectangular garden. It borders a wall to the north, okay? And we have 40 feet of fence, right? And the width we'll say is like how far away from the wall it is. Whereas its length is how far along the wall we go. Can we write an equation in standard form that kind of describes our fence budget? How much fencing do we have to work with? 40 feet, right? So I'll write a 40 as my C. Yeah? And it looks like, according to my diagram, I have X, X, and Y are going to add up to that 40-foot budget, right? So I'm going to get X plus Y. Can I simplify this at all? 2X. So what is A? What's A here? I hear 2, right? It's the 2 in front of the X. What's the Y? I don't see a number in front of my Y. Or sorry, what's my B? A 1. There's a hidden 1 there, right? If you are asked for an equation in standard form and you put in a 1 here, I'm actually happy with that. That 1 is the B. And it kind of makes sense, right? If I want to make the garden like 1 meter wider away from the wall, I need 2 feet more of fence, right? So my garden width here costs me 2 feet of fence for every extra width I give it. For every meter that I want to make, or for every foot I want to make it longer, it costs me 1 more foot of fence. Okay, so here I'm budgeting fence, not money. Make sense? There. Now, as we saw, we can take these equations, we can still graph them. And graphs of lines, they have things like slopes and intercepts, and we have to like know what those still mean. Here, can you see what the slope is? What was the slope for this line with the gyros and the egg rolls? Lila, can you see it? Kind of hard to see. Negative what? Negative 1.5 because you're going down. Well, hang on. What's the rise here? How much am I going down for every going one across? 3, right? Because in order to go right 1, I go down 3. Right? I go right 1, down 3. So our slope here is -3. Where did I see that before? In my question 5, right? Where I had every euro I gave up, I had to go down by 3 egg rolls. Right? So it kind of looks like our slope is kind of like our exchange rate almost between our euros and our egg rolls, right? Every euro I gave up, I could get 3 more egg rolls. Okay. So remember, the slope is the change in y when x increases by 1. So when the number of euros went up by 1, our number of egg rolls went down by 3. Okay. You can do it. I believe. Okay. So for every increase of 1 in the number of egg rolls, we saw a reduction of 3 in the number of, or sorry, every increase of 1 in the gyros, we want to see a reduction of 3 in our egg rolls. Okay, that's what the slope is. Okay. We can also do this like the nerd way and look at this equation here. This is the one we saw earlier, right? 6x plus 2y equals 30, right? I can convert that into slope-intercept form. I can just solve for y. Do you see that? How can I solve this equation for y? Oliver, do you see it? If I just want to isolate y here. Yep. Yeah, let's just subtract 6x from both sides and then divide both sides by 2. Y equals 30. I'll minus 6x, I'll minus 6x. That'll give me 2y equals negative 6x plus 30. Right? And I'll just divide both sides by 2. That'll give me y equals negative 3x plus 15. Negative 3x plus 15. And wait a minute, that looks a lot more familiar. That we know how to deal with. That looks like it could definitely be the equation of this line, right? Negative 3x plus 15. It's all the same line. It's all the same line, right? Okay. And when we did that, we can see what's the slope of this line? What's the slope of that line? Negative 3, negative 3, negative 3. Because when we go up by 1 gyro, we go down 3 egg rolls. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Can you go back?
Yeah. So we talked about what the slope means. It's kind of like our exchange rate between the two things we're looking at. Okay. I have Davis on deck here. Okay. Davis, off the dome, what does y-intercept mean? It's the value of what? It is. Y was the number of egg rolls. But what is a y-intercept in general when we talk about like lines? Yeah, help him. It's when the line intercepts the y-axis, right? It's the value when the line intercepts the y-axis. At the y-axis, what is x equal to? 0 it is, right? X equals 0 at the y-axis. And so the y-intercept is just the value of y when that happens. Okay? Similarly, right? What's the x-intercept? When
Y.
it's the x when y equals 0. Yeah, exactly, right? And that we already know. In any equation, not just lines, but also in quadratics and cubics and exponentials and whatever we find later on in our math careers, that is the rule to find our intercept. Let's try it here. Here's a new equation. Here's a new equation in slope-intercept, or sorry, in standard form. Okay? In order to find the y-intercept, we'll plug in 0 for x, just like you said. Yeah? So here's our x. Let's just replace it with a 0. 5y minus 15 times 0 equals negative 3. Can I solve for y now? Can you guys solve for y here? Yep, you can. What do we get? 5y equals negative 3.
5 times 5, get y. 3.
Y equals negative 3/5. Yes. Okay. Let's do that for our x-intercept as well. right? This time y will equal 0. 5 times 0 minus 15, x equals negative 3. Now what is x? Now what is x? What's our x-intercept?
Uh,
Not 5. You're close, right? But flip it the other way. Right? I'm gonna get negative 15x equals negative 3. So x is gonna be negative 3 divided by negative 5, or sorry, negative 15. 3/15, because the negatives cancel. Negative divided by negative is positive. 3/15 is the same as 1/5. Yeah. Right? On our Euro thing, right? On our Euros and egg rolls. This is the last thing, and we'll take a break, okay? Last thing, we'll take a break. Where is our x-intercept on our Euro egg roll? Yes. And what did that mean for our Euros and egg rolls? Yeah, that's okay. But I think you can know it, right? Like, what did it mean that we were down here for our x-intercepts? Huh? Yeah, it's how many euros we buy if we only buy euros, if we buy 0 egg rolls. And then that's the same thing for the y-intercept. Do we see how we're kind of like graphing something other than just time and like money over time? Now we've got like egg rolls on one axis and euros on another axis, and we're budgeting for that. Okay. So some of our homework questions are going to concern things like that. Are we ready for a break? I think you guys all are. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Are they in here?
Hang on. I need to pause the recording. Okay, let's read over this one more time. Raul can make 4 cutting boards or 3 pencil holders in an hour. Yeah? He needs to make 36 items. Let X be the number of hours he spends making cutting boards, and Y be the number of hours he spends making pencil holders. So if he spends X hours making cutting boards, what does 4X represent?
This time, how many cutting boards he has after X out.
How many cutting boards he has after X hours, right? Because he spent X hours and he made every hour he made 4. So this is the number of cutting boards. Number of cutting boards. What then would 3y equal? What does 3y mean? If 4x is the number of cutting boards, what does 3y equal?
Number of pencils.
Yes, the number of pencil holders, right? And if I add those together, what am I getting?
36.
36 what? Items. This is just the number of items he's making. He only makes 2 things. He can only make 2 things. He's not a particularly good woodworker, right? But we know that has to equal 36 items. Okay.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay. Who did I ask about B?
Me.
Okay.
I don't know if this is right,
That's okay.
but I said, it's 9-0 for the x-intercept.
Yeah, 9-0 for the x-intercept, because the x-intercept, right, is what x we need when y is 0. 3 times 0 equals 36. And then you solved this, right? You could find x here, and you got x equals 9. And what does that mean if x equals 9 and y equals 0?
If he's only making
Mm-hmm.
cutting boards.
Yep.
Then he can make 9 or make 36 in 9 hours.
Yes. Lovely. What about the y-intercept? Same idea, right? So what did you get for the y-intercept?
0 as well.
Y-intercept is 0, 12, because I'm just gonna make my my x equal 0. 3 times y equals 36. Implying that y equals 12. And that means if he's only making,
It's only baking pencil holders, like makes 36, it's 12.
when does our class end, by the way?
7 minutes.
Okay, then let's finish this up. All right, let's finish this up. What's the slope? Yeah.
2. I think 2.
Oh.
Actually, never mind. I don't do 4, sorry.
You got it? You got it?
So you have to
Wait,
Who did I ask about the slope?
only substitute.
Lila.
I can do it. I think it's negative.
Wait,
4
is
thirds.
that 40 or 4 times 0?
4 times 0. It's 4 times 0. Sorry. Lila, you said, what? Sorry?
It's negative 4 thirds. I think the graph and that's kind of like it went down 2 and over. I agree.
Mm-hmm. It went down to and over 1. Okay, so I could do this a couple of different ways, right? Okay, I could look at what I did before and see that the slope is just my sort of exchange rate. If I go down by 1, or sorry, if I increase the number of hours I spend making cutting boards by 1, how many less pencil holders can I make? Well, it's kind of a weird question. Okay. But it's negative 4 thirds. Because if he makes, let's see, 4 more cutting boards, he can make 3 less holders, pencil holders. Right? Because these are both worth 1 hour. Right? Another way to do this, and I think this might have been the way you did it, Lila, you could take this 4x plus 3y equals 36 and solve for y. Right? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you sure? Really?
I used the graph.
Okay, fair enough. If I do 4x plus 3y equals 36, I can solve this for y, right? Let's just minus 4x from both sides. Let's divide both sides by 3. Right? Y would equal negative 4 thirds x plus 12. Oh, hey, look, there's the y-intercept again. Okay, good. And what's the slope of that line just looking at it? Negative 4 thirds, right? It's there in the equation. So that's another way to get the slope. You could kind of think of the situation, or you could just algebra it out. All right. This last one, I don't know if we had the tools for, but did you guys get a guess? All right, that's fine. I'm going to do it here on the board for the sake of the recording. If you want to look at the solution later, you can, but I don't think we quite have the tools to exactly do this, but I'll give it a shot. The way I would do it is I would just draw it. X-intercept of 3. 1, 2, 3. There we are. Y-intercept of minus 2.5. 1, 2, maybe 2.5. There's my line. Right? My rise over my run is 2.5 over 3. So my y equals mx plus b is y equals, I guess, 2.5 over 3x minus 2.5. Oh, sheesh. How the heck can I deal with this?
Sheesh.
Sheesh indeed. Sheesh. then like, what is my X, Y, and Z? Well, I could just like subtract this from both sides and get negative 2.5 over 3. And I could like maybe simplify, multiply top and bottom by 2 here. So negative 2.5 over 3x plus y equals negative 2.5. So that's A, that's B, that's C.
Just take the trap.
I distracted and then I like, look. But if you want maybe it's because you wanted integers.
Yeah.
Did you want integers?
You like the
Ah. What if I wanted to get integers, why don't I multiply both sides? What if I multiply both sides by 6? 6y. 6 times 2.5, negative 9. Multiply this by, if I multiply negative 2.5 over 3 by 6, I'll actually get negative 5. So I times 6 both sides. If I want integers, this is for like the nerds who like whole number. Okay. There you go. There's an A, B, and C. However, I will not make you do a question like this. I probably wouldn't. It's a little weird.
Yeah, that's not.
I would certainly accept this. Maybe you could like put that into a calculator and get a more simple fraction, right? 5 over 6 maybe. All right. So to try the homework, guys, when should you start the homework? And I keep saying tonight, start the homework tonight, okay?
Yeah.
So that you can ask questions tomorrow,
I went to down.
so that we can be ready for the mini quiz on, when is the mini quiz for this?
Monday.
It is Monday.